And finally, you will doubtless know the story of Rosa Parks, the so-called mother of the American civil rights movement, who in 1955 refused to give up her bus to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama. Less familiar to you may be the name Claudette Colvin. 9 months earlier, in the same city and aged just 15, she did exactly the same and was arrested. 66 years on, her criminal record has finally been wiped clean.
For Claudette Colvin, the fight against injustice has been a lifelong struggle. For most of her 82 years, she has lived as a convicted teenage delinquent. Her crime was to challenge authority. As a black 15-year-old, she refused to move from her seat on a bus when asked to by a young white woman.
I was sitting in the section that was allowed for colored people, and this white lady came. The bus driver demanded for the 4 seats, so I refused. Because this wasn't an elderly white lady, this was a young white lady. I said I could not move because history had me glued to the seat.
Claudette made her stand for equal rights 9 months before Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her seat. Her case is relatively unknown, but no less important. She was jailed, charged with disturbing the peace, breaking segregation law, and assaulting police officers with her fingernails.
They said I clawed the policeman and I kicked the police. I didn't do all of that.
Fast forward to 2021 and finally the wrongs of the past are put right. After 66 years, her conviction is expunged.
Oh my goodness.
For the first time, Claudette gets to meet the Montgomery, Alabama judge who cleared her name.
Oh my goodness.
When she did this in 1955, there were no African-American judges in Montgomery. She stood up for right, and now I'm the beneficiary and byproduct of that, and I could correct the wrong that was done to her.
Amen to that.
Claudette was inspired to appeal her conviction following the murder of George Floyd and many other black men. Ultimately, she has won her fight, but is acutely conscious that the battle for civil rights rages on. Rupert Evelyn, News at 10.
What an uplifting story.